Hello, everyone. Welcome to State of the Game for June 23rd. It feels like it's been a while since we've been here, but while we don't have Yannick today, Yannick's still on holiday in California. I'm here. My name's Hamish. I'm one of the community developers here. Yannick's the other one if you haven't met him. But I have a very special guest today. I have Frederick here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Frederick.
I call you Weapons Guy, but what
You call me Weapons Guy.
what,
I do.
what should other people call you?
I'm a senior designer on the division, but for the purposes of today's discussion, my role is
you can be Weapons Guy.
my Weapons Guy and Gear Set Guy.
Okay,
I'm,
all right.
I'm the creator and crusher of dreams.
All right, the crusher of dreams. Sometimes, but today we thought it'd be cool to talk about some of the changes that are coming up over the next week and that sort of thing. To start things off, we do currently have some news to get out there. The PS4 patch isn't ready to be pushed out on Tuesday. We'll have more news on that very, very soon, but that does not mean also that it will be delayed until the August the 2nd, or I think it was. That's not the case, but we'll let you know as soon as that PS4 patch is going to get out. We will get that out as soon as we can, obviously, but again, more news coming very, very soon on that. All right. I'm the crusher of dreams right now, I'm sorry. But we do have a lot of information for you today on weapons and those sorts of things. Some things that will make some people a little bit maybe not happy, but some things that will make you very happy. That thing at the end that we're going to talk about is very, very cool. So we have said that there are going to be some bonuses added to LMGs, shotguns, ARs, and a change to the SMGs.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, for people who don't know, what those are?
Right, yeah. So we've been looking at balance for quite a while, and we're looking at adding bonuses rather than reducing things to achieve balance. So we first took a look at the guns that didn't have bonuses, because you know we had SMGs and marksman rifles with bonuses. So for the LMGs, for the light machine guns, we wanted that element of suppression, i.e. you should stay in cover if you're getting shot by an LMG. So we're adding a bonus to LMGs called damage to targets out of cover.
Okay.
So
how much damage?
I mean, it's subject to rolls and the gods of RNG, but somewhere 25%-ish.
Okay, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I mean, it's important to note that you do count as in cover if you've taken cover, even when you pop up an ADS.
That's what we're going to say. So, like, for people who didn't catch that, if you are connected to cover, and you have the ability to pop up and down, you are in cover.
You're technically in cover, and you
even if you're up.
Yeah, and you won't receive that extra damage. So.
Okay.
I'm not going to say people are going to start using cover in the dark zone.
Maybe.
But you will get a tangible benefit when fighting someone who has an LMG if you do use cover.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right, I like that.
So,
and bonuses to the shotguns and ARs.
Right. So for the shotguns, there's a new rolled bonus, but there's also a tweak to the shotguns. So the rolled bonus is their purpose when you were leveling. You could shoot a rusher when he was coming at you, and he would stagger, and that was sort of a CC, and then you could finish him off. And now when you're playing incursions and all of these elite level 30-something rushers, it just doesn't work anymore. So now they get a huge amount of stagger against NPCs. So now, again, you can just spray at a rusher when he's coming at you, even if he's high-level elite, and he's going to stagger. So they're going to be a useful tool for that. But obviously, stagger is annoying to have happen to you as a player in PvP if it's come from a bullet.
Sure.
So we don't have that in PvP. So for PvP, the shotguns instead are getting a upwards 30% damage increase at like level 33 guns somewhere.
Okay. So there's a big flat increase to shotgun damage.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But will there ever? I know that we talked about it a little bit earlier. There might be a possibility of adding some effect, maybe not stagger, but...
Yeah, we do want all of these things to eventually make it into the PvP meta because we want this to be a homogeneous game where everything works sort of like you expect everywhere. But we haven't found a version of stagger on players that feels right and not super annoying quite yet, so we're still looking at that, and you know, we'll gladly have communication with our players on what they think about that going forward too.
Okay, so any suggestions, please... throw them at us because I mean there's a lot of different alternatives that we could look at, you know.
Yeah, we've been talking about knocking around the camera a little bit, or slowing you down, or having that be the player effect of stagger, but we haven't really reached it yet, so we didn't put it in now.
Yes.
NPC shotguns
Okay.
do not get.
Okay, yes, these are your shotguns.
Yeah, yeah.
Good point, Gabe. 30% damage buff is to your
Oh,
shotgun,
yeah.
not to the shotgunners who have been a point of contention for people for so long.
Not to the long range shotgunners.
No, the nerf to the shotgunners that you experienced is still in effect.
That's still in effect.
Yeah, don't-
absolutely.
do
This
not worry
this
about
is
that.
for you to retaliate.
All right. Sorry, chat.
Right. And then obviously
Assault
the
rifles.
assault rifles. So assault rifles get armor destruction or armor penetration. So this is useful against elites and named NPCs and so forth. And we did try various versions of getting this into the PvP meta as well, but we didn't find something that was really right just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep looking at that for the future. For now, I mean, luckily the Dark Zone is also full of NPC targets, so they still have a viable place in the Dark Zone, and obviously in all of the other PvE content, they have a large role. And that's around 20% armor damage that they get.
Sure. But for now, the bonus on ARs will apply only to
Only
NPC
to NPCs.
armor.
Yes.
But don't overlook those ARs because we talked a lot about them because they are. I looked at the data and there's an article coming out tonight.
Right.
In about 7 hours and 20 minutes about with more of this information, and there's some data in there that's really interesting because a lot of people are using ARs.
Right. I mean, if you have a black market AK-47, you're going to be pretty happy with that, and that's just going to get more powerful now, even though it's like situationally powerful.
Yeah.
And we don't mind that certain gear is better for certain situations in the game, that there's no cover-all solution.
Sure.
But we're still going to keep looking at that.
I think, well, I do think ARs are viable in PvP,
I do think
but
so.
when we can get that armor bonus working in a meaningful way in
exactly.
PvP, that's going to be really cool. Also, don't forget, weapon paper DPS calculates at the optimal range for that weapon.
Yes.
So an AR, depending on how far away you are, will do more damage than an SMG.
Yeah, people sleep on the optimal range as a stat quite a lot, and SMGs fall off quite aggressively over distance.
Especially things like the Victor.
Yeah, and I think maybe we should maybe talk a little bit more at some point about how low that damage gets and how quickly it gets low, because I think that's a real advantage of both ARs and some LMGs over the SMGs.
Yes. Okay. Actually, that's a good point, because while there are bonuses being added to some things, there are a couple of weapons that are wildly far and away
more
powerful than the rest.
So another change we did, just to segue into that, is that we've changed the bonus that rolls on SMGs. And it's worth noting that all of these new rolls, including the change to the rolls on the SMGs, that they're going to affect new weapons after the patch.
Yes.
So they won't turn up magically on the weapons that you already have for technical reasons.
Yes.
But on the SMGs, because we want you to gear for your gun, that's a core thing in our game. That's why we have the unlocks with the stat requirements, etc. We changed it to critical strike damage instead, because then you have to equip critical strike gear to get that damage out of your gun.
Sure.
And it's actually a slight buff, because they get quite a lot of critical strike damage, and at the current cap of 60% critical strike chance, if you can reach it now, that you don't get that all of that stuff from your SMG, slightly higher than before.
Okay, cool.
But like you said, in at the same time, we did take a look at popularity and damage output of all of the guns, and two weapons, the Vector and the AUG, those two families. We have reduced their base damage by about 10% to incorporate that into this balance.
Because
change.
even with the SMG within the SMG family, they're far and away.
They are. I mean, the intention is not to have them be the highest base damage of all guns in the game. That was just they just didn't sit right. So, and that change will affect the existing guns even in your inventory.
Yes. So okay. We need to be clear on this because I think there's going to be a bit of confusion.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get to that, there is one other change that will be retroactive to M1As, which people may not notice, but I think it's worth pointing out.
It's a subtle change. So if you're, I'm going to just go out and say it. If you're spamming shots with your M1A, there's a limit to how broad or how inaccurate it gets. That limit has been slightly increased.
Okay.
So if you're shooting at really high rate of fire, it's going to go a little bit less accurate.
Okay,
than
so the
before.
reticle bloom will be for
Will be
okay.
allowed to go a little
Okay.
bit further out at rapid fire. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Those three things will be retroactive.
Yes.
Reticle bloom on M1As for accuracy.
Yes.
The AUG and the Vector
AUG and
base
the Vector.
damage reduced for everything that exists
Yes.
right now and in the future.
Yes.
But as of Tuesday, when the patch comes out,
Mhm.
all of the things other than that will exist right now. So if you've rolled obviously critical hit chance on your weapons, that will stay.
Yeah. It's on there. Yeah.
All right. But anything new that drops
We'll have
We'll
critical
have
strike.
and
Damage.
the new shotgun buff,
All of that stuff.
the new 30, well, the new percentage out of cover on LMGs.
Right.
So I was asking you about this yesterday. The Hungry Hog, if it drops after the,
It's going to be a better
it's going to
Hungry
be
Hog.
a much better Hungry Hog.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, so we don't take these changes lightly, and
Mhm.
it's a lot to adapt to. But we do feel like the meta was, and we have some data in the article that's coming out today. The meta had grown a little bit stale when it came
Mhm.
to like AUG Vector / M1A usage,
yeah.
and we just want to make more choices available and playstyles available.
Yeah. And right now we are very aware of the Tanktician
Yes.
meta as well, and we'll be definitely monitoring how that kind of progresses. because-
Absolutely. I mean, it was a recent change, the cap,
Yeah.
and we want you to be able to be tanky in the game, but it shouldn't be the only choice. So we'll
Yeah.
keep an eye on how that
Yeah,
develops.
you should be able to do all
Yeah, a little
sorts of-
glass cannon, a little support, a little tankiness.
Yeah.
I mean, and a mix of all of these things.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see if things like the LMG really affect people who are
Right,
dealing with that and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and
So-
it's certainly one of the places where we'll use any future changes to armor destruction to maybe bring that into that
Mm.
meta to see how that works.
Definitely. So yes, and it's always going to be evolving. So,
Mm.
but that's one of the things we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on. Sentry and Striker have been changed.
Right. So we've known for a while that it was the go-to combination was to use a 2 or 3 piece striker or sentry
Mhm.
gear sets, right? And we like striker and we like sentry, but they were just too ubiquitous, and
Yeah.
everybody was using them.
Especially combined, like the
Right.
three piece. Was
Yeah, the 3, 2,
that's
1.
what I was doing.
Yeah, the 3-2-1 with the mechanics gloves
Yeah.
were a common
Yeah.
are a common option. So what we've done is we've taken some of the power from the 2 and 3 piece bonuses
Mhm.
and moved them into a 5-piece bonus. So
Okay.
the 2 and 3 are reduced, still viable, still
Mhm.
good bonuses, but some of those numbers are moved to a 5-piece bonus.
Okay.
So the
So
whole
we-
of the
yeah.
set retains its power,
Okay.
but the combinations open up for actually being viable to use some of the other sets, 2 and
Yeah,
3-piece
exactly.
bonuses.
So you could still roll around with 5-piece Sentry, get the
Yeah.
4-piece bonus and
Yeah.
all of the stats,
Mm.
and then roll with Savage Gloves or something if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
if you wanted to do that. But those 5-piece bonuses
Yeah.
are becoming very.
I mean,
very soon.
we've been watching it for a while. We didn't take this decision lightly or hastily, but I
Mhm.
think it's the right adjustment to do.
All right, and again, we'll always monitor those things to see if that works out. I love this one. Special ammo changes.
Right. So special ammo, we've been
We can
keeping
call this a
an eye-
nerf. Like it's
this
a
is
pretty
a
hard nerf.
proper nerf. So both types of special ammo, explosive ammo and incendiary ammo, have in different ways been reduced by somewhere in the neighborhood of 75% effectiveness. So incendiary ammo lasts for much shorter, like the actual burn effect when you
Mhm.
hit someone. It lasts for 30% of what it used to last for. And
Yeah.
the explosive ammo, the typical use case that we see a lot is
Yeah.
like an M44 with some explosive ammo. You'd like
Mhm.
do 25,000 damage and then an explosion for like 100,000. No longer the
Ridiculous.
case.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now the explosion will always be for the exact damage that the bullet was.
All right.
So they always scale 1-to-1.
So basically,
you're not gonna
25% of
one-shot.
what it used to.
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
case. It's scaled a little bit differently depending on your build.
Yep.
It's scaled with some other factors.
But in a very basic sense,
yes,
it's a
you're
very-
not going to be one-shotted by the M44 plus explosive ammo. That's what I'm.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting.
Good
at.
to hear. All right, that's cool. I think that's going to change a lot of people's, usage of these things. Especially we talked a little bit about the set that
Yeah.
is tailored around consumables. That's
So-
one that I know the internet is worried about, but
Right.
we definitely want to see how it goes. But
Absolutely.
it's with these changes, and then also the recognizing that the cooldown still exists.
The cooldowns are still the same even when using this set, and I mean, we want the consumables to be a useful part of the game. We're working on the comfort of using that menu, and we're adjusting the effects, like we've just said. So, it's supposed to be something that you use, and now it's limited, but just by the fact that you don't have enough of them with you.
Yeah, so
Mostly.
the set that applies a consumable to everyone in your group.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you to do anything that you can't do already.
It's
Apart from allow you to have stocks of it.
It's supposed to allow you to be that buff bot, that like
Yeah.
shaman paladin type
Yeah, yeah.
backline support guy.
Okay, but again, we do recognize people's
People are
feeling
worried.
about it,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see what happens, especially in light of these changes as well.
Yeah.
Also, I was at E3, but obviously playing the build with a lot of people, and the people that played the build loved a gun, the new battle rifle.
Yeah, there was a lot of love for that.
Disclaimer: that will not be in the build that comes out.
It
Tuesday.
was the E3 build had a lot of work in progress stuff in it. That battle rifle was a work in progress. It's not quite done yet.
I'm sorry,
It
I
will
feel
get
bad.
out there.
I love that gun. It is so cool.
It's a Desert Tech MDR. It's a great gun, but it's not quite done yet. It'll
Okay.
get out there when it gets out there, but not
Yeah.
right now for this patch.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very good. So I guess people that did play the game, I think Eric's and Skill Up are maybe still in chat.
Yeah.
Those guys loved it. They put out videos about it.
Yeah.
It will be coming, just not
Just
yet.
not now, and it does fit with a gear set, and it's going to be great once it comes out. But we got to get it right because it's a very unique gun. It's a single fire gun in the assault rifle category, so we got to do some more tweaks.
It feels completely different.
It's very different. And that's what exotic style weapons should be all about. Feeling very different.
It felt very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to people getting their hands on that.
But I mean, we do
For
have
real.
one very anticipated exotic.
I was just going to say that's a good segue into some of the. We have exotics and some new weapons as well.
Right, so yeah, we were introducing new weapon families,
All right. So the showstopper that people saw in the trailer for 1.2 that actually wasn't in 1.2.
which wasn't quite done yet because it's
Yes.
difficult to make these things right.
That's coming.
It's coming. It's a fully automatic shotgun with a drum magazine.
Oh my
It's
God.
absolutely ridiculous. And it rolls with a talent called the Showstopper, which
Mhm.
shrinks your reticule the less ammo you have left in the
Okay.
magazine. So it gets almost pinpoint accurate at the last few bullets.
Will
or
it kind
shells.
of, in a way, feel like an LMG?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it will. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So it always rolls with that free talent.
That's cool.
And then we have the G36. It's a very
Okay.
anticipated assault rifle family. There's a couple of variants, I think 3 of that.
Okay.
And it rolls with a talent geared towards your skill usage. So
Yeah,
it
it's a
has
talent called Focus
yes.
as well. So that one's interesting. It seems like on paper I need it, but it's going to do what exactly?
So when your skills are not on cooldown, you get more damage out of the gun.
All right. Yeah, I think that was in the build at E3 as well.
Yeah,
People
so
picked up on that.
As soon as you use your pulse or whatever else you use to increase your damage, that talent is inactive. As soon as nothing's on cooldown, then that talent's active. So there's this seesaw between your talents contributing, this talent contributing, and your skills contributing to your damage.
That's cool. The SVD family of weapons.
Right.
Have a
So
talent called Decisive.
yeah, some anticipated marksman rifles. The decisive talent means that if you kill something, your next shot is going to be a critical hit. So it allows you for very precise, planned headshotting. Probably a lot of ads you can take out
Yeah.
successively if you're successful
I was
with
going
that
to say
weapon.
crit hit damage is going to
Yeah,
be
yeah. Yeah,
if
it's
you're
gonna
running
be-
a builder on that, because if
Yeah.
you know you're getting crits.
Yeah, but it's not a random chance. It's
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you've
exactly.
killed someone the next shot. So you got to take care of those shots
Yeah.
and make sure you use them.
Nice. And then the PP19, which is an SMG.
It's an odd one. It has like a little drum magazine
Yeah, it
on
kind
it.
of looks like a little fatty.
Yeah, so it's quite a large capacity SMG. I really like it. It has a beefy sound on it,
Mhm.
and the more you crit with it, the faster the reload. That's the talent
That's cool.
on it.
So I mean, it kind of
yeah.
will flatten out to be a base reload speed increase.
Increase, yeah.
All right,
That's
that's
factored
cool.
into the gun. And this is how we want to bring new guns to people, because there's already a lot of guns there. And that's great that you get some new handling guns. But on the RPG side, we want them to be new as well. So that's why these have these new talents that only roll
Mhm.
on these weapons.
They sound incredibly different too.
The-
Which, for people who are
Yeah.
interested in that sort of thing, which I am, I love how they sound.
They sound great, yeah.
So cool. especially the battle rifle.
Well,
Damn it.
unfortunately, yes. But the
Damn
PP19 is probably my audio favorites.
Oh, yeah?
For this, yeah.
Okay.
But on talents,
Yes.
weapon
Oh,
talents.
yes. This one. I love it. You will now be able to recalibrate your weapon talents.
right. So people saw this.
So good.
Yeah, people saw this weapon kit that was on E3, this
Yes.
new little thing, and speculated on Reddit and whatever what it was for, and it's for paying for recalibrating your weapons. You get to pick one of the talents and unlocks on your weapon and re-roll it to a completely new one.
Nice. So
You-
if you have it'll work very similarly to how gear recalibration
Yeah.
works. You basically pick a slot,
Yeah.
do it, and then you get a
Yeah.
list of available ones.
But I mean, what it's going to mean for us is just in comfort is if you find a gun that's
So close.
2/3 good,
Yeah.
you can get that god roll by recalibrating it.
That's
I'm really
so
happy
good.
that we finally managed to get that in there.
That is awesome. That's very, very cool.
And that means that on these guns that we just talked about, if you don't like one of these new talents for whatever reason, you can roll them away.
Yes, so there's dedicated talents. So maybe we weren't clear about that before, but they are weapon talents that are dedicated to that family of
Yeah.
weapons.
They'll
So
only be on those.
A G36 will always drop with focused.
Yeah.
Always or have a chance to?
Always.
Okay, always.
Yeah.
G36 will always have focused. SVD will always have decisive, and PP19 will always have hurried.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And a showstopper will also have the
Showstopper.
showstopper because that's its
Yeah.
talent. But you can get rid of those if you don't like it.
Yes, and you can get your
So
old favorites if you want.
so
them.
if you want a showstopper with something else, then
Yeah,
the showstopper
absolutely.
talent or
And so I think that's going to be a real relief when hunting new guns, especially now
Mm.
that the meta changes with all of these new stats and whatnot. There's going to be a better chance to find the gun that you need quicker.
I definitely think so. All right, we're about done. That's basically everything that I want to go through today. The weapon developer blog that I have a lot of information from is going to be out tonight,
Mhm.
and we are looking to do a special report again on Monday for the upcoming update, patch 1.3. I will get more information out about that very, very soon. But that's all. That's all for today. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope you like those things. I'm weapon recalibration. Come on. I'm very happy about that. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll be back very soon. I know the stream has been a little bit